Let that friend, that neighbor know where to go. When it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Mama said, there will be days, literally, just like this one. Cowboys Jerry Jones recap on Micah Parsons, plus more Q&A. More and more. More and more. Come on, baby. Stand tall or not at all. And one thing we all adore, something worth dying for. Come on. Yup. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a Law Nation's Groove? 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on with it.
What more do you want from me?
Not going to be a long show. I got a meeting, but I just want to be able to put this out here. Shout out to the final word last night and won. Come on. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Here's my thoughts on all of this. The Cowboys, Jerry Jones speaking out and saying that anything that I want, I can go get. I never had something that I wanted and I couldn't get, basically. And what I'm getting at is that last night on the final word, we were talking about this in passing of Jerry Jones' comments here. And basically, this could be some WWF or WWE. I never watched wrestling like that, but shout out to all the wrestling watchers, man. But it could be one of those things that happening because this dude is speaking so much out of hand that it's something got to be done, right? And sources close to the star, or now what I can say, sources close to the law. But appreciate y'all, man. But sources close to the star stating that a piece of this deal is already done. It's the languages that need to be done. And the languages of what Jerry Jones is speaking of, and as well as my guy Micah Parsons, these things need to be all solidified. And it could take some time. But when we know we get to that part of a contract, just like anything, right, these deals could be very much so said and done. And Jerry always liked to talk to the players before he get a chance to talk to the agency. And it seems as if, though, they are trying to play the old bait and switch type of deal so that people can get these things talked about and get tractions going. Keep in mind, there's no other owner, manager, GM, marketing agent guru that's like Jerry Jones.
Brian Schottenheimer this morning, he said he had spoken to Micah, expected him to be part of OTAs to a greater extent than he was last year. What is his status as far as negotiations right now, and do you have those same expectations as far as the offseason program?
Well, I know that I've spent 5-6 hours with him myself and had a lot of discussions. Most of the issues are in agreement on, and I've discussed it all. And so, but we obviously don't have an agreement relative to a new contract. Michael's under contract, and
so basically he's saying that Micah Parsons is under contract. We all know that, Jerry. We all understand that. The issue is with all of this, and the problem is with all of this, is that we don't need the outside noise chiming in, right? And the speculation for the nation chiming in. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to wait until the right moment to announce news about contracts being this and that. And, yeah, the Babble of Jerry. Yeah, the Babylon Jerry. That's what we're going to have to start calling him. Let's go.
So we'll see how that goes. It's not uncommon for me to visit directly with players, and in this particular case, that's the way I'm doing it.
Why is he easy to work with in that sense, being able to talk to him?
Not necessarily easy, it's just that we can have a good communication. And
You're right, Toxic Tom. He says until that you sign, you don't have an agreement, right? And back in the days, about 15, maybe over 20 years ago, I used to have a door-to-door B2B deal that I worked for. And one of the people said, hey, you know, it's good that you have all of these things and you're forecasting, but where's that ink on paper, right? That's the ultimate thing. You got to get the ink on paper. They can always smooth you, right? And say, hey, the deal is done. Yeah. And hey, we going to go with you, man. We got you, and the whole time they're on the phone with someone else, right? Saying, hey, man, Law got this deal in at 250. Can you get it south of that? Can we go with 220? Can we go with 200, right? Or can you add a year to it and go at 260, right? Babel and Jerry, I love
we
it.
communicate well.
Want effective treatments for ED, hair loss, weight loss, or
Yeah,
mental
dog.
health? HIMS has helped millions of
Hims. Hey, Hims, run that check over here, man. Come on there. Hims downstairs. I should have downloaded this before playing it because I don't have YouTube subscription. What they call that? Where you get rid of the commercials? But, yeah.
And
But Hims.
he asked for it. He's one of the few people that have my personal cell number.
When you say
And I
most-
called and he called about an appointment, and I called him back, and he was over in Abu Dhabi,
Abu Dhabi.
and said it's going to take me about 24 hours to get back, but we'll talk.
when you say most of the issues you have an agreement on, you're talking about money.
Of course,
Yes.
but no contract issues.
Right.
But,
Come on! Wasting my time.
Shout out to you, JB. Thank you for the $20 cash app, man. I really appreciate you. Law got a flat tire, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Dak owns Filthy. Appreciate you. Treat your meat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, YouTube Premium, you know. I don't know what they're doing in my, you know what I'm saying, algorithm, but that's crazy. You know, the selective marketing. I know, hey, Hims. Who else we need to get? Blue Chew and whatever Shay Sharp and them got on their sponsorships. Hey, y'all need to run that check over here before we get locked in.
term,
Yes.
guarantees, money, all those things. We've had a meeting of the minds on.
Why have you not had that same meeting of minds with his agent?
Well, I don't know that, you know, I'm the one who has to sign the check, and Michael's the one that has to agree to it. So that's the straightest way to get there is the one writing the check and the one agreeing to it talking. And that.
All right, so do y'all agree with Jerry Jones on that? Do y'all agree with Jerry Jones on that? Because he said straight to it, talking directly to Micah Parsons, the straightest way to the deal, right? And one can argue, you know, you got to, when you get on the phone with some people, just being 1,000 with you. And if you in sales, right, you better be talking to the person that can get the deal done. And normally, you know, they'll be the queen of the Peace Corps. They'll be the mamas, you know. Yeah. What did mama say, you know? Because normally they go door to door, they knocking on things, and they saying, okay, you can be agreeance with this particular deal, but let me check with the queen first, you know. So let me check with mama and them before I agree, right? And that's what Parsons did, basically. And David Mulugeta, he was brought out and said, you know what? There's a lot of holes in this contract. And I get it, the way that the Cowboys like to do these deals, and it may have been done before in the past. I've seen a lot of things circulating on the Tony Romo deal and how he got it done by him being locked up in a room with him and Bill Parcells. But you got to understand that Tony Romo's first contract was considered dog water, right? And that was his very first contract. He was glad that he made the team, right? He like, oh, Lord, I'm going to make the team, man. You know, I started off as the ball boy almost, man. I started off on the fourth or fifth string quarterback, right? So those are different levels to this. Parsons already been playing in the league, already made all pro. And the NFL stands for not for long. Michael says, Law, would you draft Shador if he fell to the 12th? No, I wouldn't draft him, but Jerry Jones, it'd be hard for him to pass up on him.
The NFL Players Association to exclusively negotiate contracts on behalf of the player. You don't want that pesky outsider screwing up the ability of Jerry to feel like he's getting a good deal for himself, and that's exactly why he does it. Here's a little more from Jerry on talking directly to Micah Parsons about the contract that they apparently are trying to finalize.
The agent is not a factor here or something to worry about. And I don't know his name. And so my point is.
Yeah.
Damn!
Where my guy at?
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
With that being said, just like last night, this is some WWE stuff, right? WWF, wrestling, stuff right here. Because at the end of the day, he know who he is. The deal, they've been talking. The deal is the deal. Come on with it.
Is that I'm not trying to demean you in any way, but this isn't about an agent. The agent doesn't have one thing to do with what we're doing when we get on a football field against a team. Micah does. To the degree I'm involved, I do. The people that have something to do with what we do going forward relative to our fans in football are me and the player, not the agent. And I'm not demeaning the agent. I'm just saying, but anybody can do this, and that's told directly to a player. And frankly, most people that negotiate me will tell you that they were better off than negotiating with anybody, Steven or anybody involved.
All right, so that's Jerry Jones and his thoughts on that. But let me pull this up because I said this last year that it appears that the Cowboys, and this is on the not the Micah Parsons contract, but I did say this about Dak Prescott contract. And to a degree, I spoke in words a little bit about the CD Lamb contract. For context, this is going to tell you guys some of the story, right? And for all of the information, this is going to tell y'all some of the things. This says a lot about how sloppy and dysfunctional the Cowboys organization really is. Unfortunately, you just don't make deals like this. I love my team, but damn, Jerry and Stephen Jones, you got to do better. Now, I did get some pushback on this particular topic, but this was Todd France and his partner A.J. Stevens talking about the time that they got Dak Prescott the record-setting deal. And I'm going to bring this all into, a good talking conversational piece just by the end of this conversation. Just listen to what they have to say. Hope the audio is straight, though. Hold on.
Last night, so it. Let me ask you, what is?
Can y'all hear audio?
Jerry and Steven?
Put a one in the chat.
You guys meet with them in person? Do they have big cowboy hats on? Like they have cowboy boots? Like what's that like?
So the first contract we went to when it went to sign it, it went to Dallas in Jerry's office and conference room, and they had all the photographers, and he's dressed in a suit. They're all in suits, whatever, and it was all normal and good. And in the second go around, I didn't go there ever. Didn't even go for the signing because it was. I FaceTimed Dak to tell him the deal was done while he was getting ready to maybe he was
ready to play.
30 minutes later. It was 30 minutes before he was going down to the hotel lobby in Cleveland to get on the bus to go to the game.
Right. So maybe we should finish the timeline here.
Pay attention to the timeline.
The Thursday before the game, we are saying we're not going to get a deal done. Yeah. We're kind of depressed about that. We tried, but they're not going to get there. It gets to Saturday night, I'm still sitting at my desk 11 p.m. Saturday night.
Pay attention to the words. Thursday, they kind of depressed because they didn't get there. You took your quarterback coming off damn near, and I get it, the Green Bay Packers game left a sour taste in everybody's mouth, right? So you took your quarterback that you particularly signed $250 million to all the way up until that Thursday before you gave him his check to be able to play for a continuancy. Don't you guys know that the heavies of the weights of the world is all on your head? Because you don't know where you're going to lay your head at for the foreseeable future. So you toyed with that, meaning that you let people mock and spit upon you. You let people derail. You let people excoriate. You let people do all of those things to your franchise quarterback when all you had to do is get in front of it. You didn't have to drag this out all through the offseason, through training camp, through preseason to get that deal done. People, I know a few of you guys. You might say, hey, man, I want the results from Rain Dakota Prescott. I get all of that. I'm not removing that aspect. You can declare your results. But nobody in here would love to go to their job and it's a day-to-day deal, right? Nobody in here would love to go to their place of work with the mindset of knowing that the head coach, he may lose his job. The defensive coordinator, he may lose his job. And damn, lo and behold, my number one wide receiver, my target, he's not even paid, so he's not even coming to camp. And I'm doing my due diligence with what I can do as a leader to be here when everybody else held out.
Because, you know, we're getting emails from Steven still.
I'm having conversations after conversation with Stevens, calling you,
Right.
telling you what the conversation is and what to go back with it. And what we kind of just, it happened all Saturday night.
Late into the night, Saturday night, I wake up at 7 in the morning, or I'm up at 7 in the morning to my first call from Todd.
On Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, yeah. Sunday morning, he calls me 7 a.m. and he's like, you hear anything? Have you heard anything? I'm like,
Yeah.
How would I have heard anything without you? Like, did you hear anything? He's like, no, nothing yet. Like, well, the last conversation or the last communication we had with them was 11:30 last night, so it hasn't been that long. He's like, well, you know, Dak's got to be on the field. He's got a game at 3 o'clock. And it was during our call, he stopped and he goes, wow, Steven's calling me right now. And so he merged over to talk to Steven, and things got rolling again.
Okay.
Things got rolling again here for...
Yeah, I mean, Steven called 8 a.m., I think, Sunday morning, which was 7 a.m. his time.
Yeah.
And Steven did not go to Cleveland with the team, so he wasn't in the team hotel. He had to stay back for some major sponsor's birthday party.
Oh, wow.
So he wasn't flying in with Jerry till that day of the game, the morning of the game.
What is your obligation? What is your obligation? You got two guys, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, with all of these, hey, I got to do this for a sponsorship deal. I got to do this for another major deal. I got to make sure that this arena, this thing is all secured so we can have Mike Tyson and RuPaul to fight. You know, I got to make sure that we can have Hootie and the Blowfish singing on the next week. You know, their priorities literally is not the Dallas Cowboys. Their priorities are literally not the players. So when you take time away from doing one thing, it's going to hurt you on another thing. The obligation should be, I need to get these players paid early. I need to be able to get these contracts done so that I can take my money and move it and get another star-studded player, so that we can help propel ourselves when we get to the postseason. Priorities is all I'm asking for. So when I say sloppy and dysfunctional, yes, you can still be a good team. You can still be good. You can be good enough to win regular season games. But you can't have those loose ends in the postseason game because whatever your inefficiency is during the regular season, it will show up times 2 in the postseason. But some people, they just won't get it.
On his private plane.
I mean, when you said like, all right, I think it's done. You have to come to my house right now because we need to go through everything with a fine tooth comb. So we're both at home. It's Sunday morning. I drive over to Todd's house. We get the final proposal from the Cowboys. We go through it and we're like, okay, like we have to call Dak. We FaceTime Dak. We tell him, Todd, the emotion out of you. I don't know if you want to touch on that and like everything.
I
felt.
FaceTimed him and he answered the phone and like I couldn't even speak. Like he knew, it was done. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was pretty awesome to be a part of, to see Todd and just the sense of relief and the emotion.
That's what it was. 100% relief. I was choked up. Dak was choked up. Like we're both literally like looking at each other on FaceTime crying.
Yeah.
And then I was able to finally like tell him the news and I didn't realize Zeke was in his room, and somebody else was with him. I forget who it was, but so that was really awesome, to go through it, and he was so happy. And then we FaceTimed in or did a thing with Julie so she can get in and Peter, the financial guy, and Peter, the marketing guy, got his whole team on to let them all know that, hey guys, it's done. And everyone obviously was real relieved and to have it done and all that. So
that could have been, put it like this. All of the stuff that we've been swabbling over and fighting over with the money aspect. Can somebody in the chat ask me and tell me this? How much money do we have now? If you go to over the cap, how much money do we have now? How much money do we have now, ladies and gentlemen? All of those expertise. If you don't have the answer, that's okay. Law got it for you, right? $37 million. 37.6. That's a damn good interview with Athletes First. Because if you listen to the entirety of the interview, they said that they were willing to work the deal the year prior. And I guarantee y'all, news flash for those who's watching, it wouldn't have been $60 million APY. So that 37.6 that you're looking at could easily be 48, 50, damn near $60 million. That's an extra player. We was talking about that we can't afford a Derrick Henry. We were talking about we can't afford a Saquon Barkley. You could, but with your dysfunctions, with your lack of sense of urgencies, created this crazy chaos that now all we talk about is the value of said player and the worth of said player. And now you got people who don't understand it. They will look at it and say, hey, now that he got paid, I need to see the results on the field. Every year, a person that's watching this show, every year you should make more money than you made last season. You should figure out how to better your time than what you did last season. Do that makes you a better person. You should strive to be, but you don't have the control of the outcome of all of the situations. But you do have the control of what you do. That's working hard. That's studying your craft. And that is what the Rain Dakota Prescott kid does. That's exactly what he do. So with that, you still got your water carriers, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It says Javar states, and I got less than 10 minutes left. Law, Stephen and Jerry are not sloppy when it comes to money. That they are a way of calculating. They're well calculated. If Jerry doesn't know anything, he knows money. You are an outstanding Cowboys content creator, but I disagree with you on this. There's methods to their madness when it comes to contracts. Now, I may have never touched $1 billion, right? And just because you come out of a womb of someone that's a little bit more fortunate than you and have the ability to have surroundings of funds and money doesn't make that person better than you, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Because if they had a 400-year head start than me, and there's a place in worlds that I can go to that same space and I can be there. Just off of my mom used to pick cotton, right? And my grandfather used to work in the fields, right? So, and I'm telling y'all, from a Mississippi mentality, I don't let that get in the way. I treat the CEO just as well as I treat the janitor the same way. But just because someone is moving with a little bit more money than you, I don't want you guys to think that they are smarter than you. I don't want y'all to think, oh man, just because Jay-Z is a billionaire or Rihanna Riri is a billionaire, she's better. No. Or whoever will be the kids that grew up out of was it Elon Musk and all of them boys and all of them things that he got. He got 13 kids, I believe. That doesn't mean that their kids are better or his kids are better. It may be richer, but it doesn't mean that just because Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are billionaires, that their 2 + 2 is different from my 2 + 2. You just got to start, right? In newsflash, everyone is self-made. Only the successful ones will admit it. So I said respectfully, I have to disagree because these are truth and facts that nobody can out-debate. Dak Prescott, they waited too long. They tagged him twice and ended up giving him a massive contract. DeMarcus Lawrence, they let his price skyrocket. They tagged him twice before they caved and gave him a long-term contract. Is that a good plan of action? Oh, excuse me, Ezekiel, Elijah Elliott. You know, his father still got them 10 bands on the table for anybody to show film and footage if Ezekiel Elliott really done slipped off, right? They paid him 2 years early with 2 years left on his rookie's contract. And keep in mind, they already had in the back of their minds that they still had to pay their quarterback. So that's still, I'm still in the facts of it, and nobody can out-debate me with this. Amari Cooper traded a first-round pick for him. They let him walk for pennies or for a fifth-round draft pick to avoid paying Amari Cooper. Bad asset management. And last but not least, with the CeeDee Lamb and the Micah Parsons, both now watching the market reset, talking about we're waiting for leaves to fall, when you could have easily paid CeeDee Lamb 26 to 27 million the year before, right? And then with the Micah Parsons, right? And that's what I'm basically getting at. They allowed Justin Jefferson, they allowed A.J. Brown, and on the flip side, with even Parsons, they allowed Nicholas Bosa to get paid. These aren't being well calculated decisions, ladies and gentlemen. This is a consistency of a retroactive, not proactive approach to a contract. A well-run team do not run this way, ladies and gentlemen. These are all facts. Only a fool would try to argue otherwise. Say, yeah, man, let's just wait until the prices go high. You know, it don't work that way, you know. And then, you know... Hey, dude, please, have you ever negotiated a contract for a quarterback in the NFL? But say whatever you want. I work federally for over 10 years on the contracts, right? So at the end of the day, man, it's not about this nor that. But I know I have clearances that they don't have. They can't go into certain buildings. I can, based off of my knowledge and accolades, off of contracts. So I know what I'm talking about as it relates to contracts. So when we go into these things and we start talking about this nor that, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys, they may have all, look, Grandma, may she rest in peace or power. She said, you know, this is just a joke, so don't y'all take this and run with it. But she said, man, there's people in hell with great intentions. Oh, man, I had good intentions on this. I had good intentions on that. But it wasn't the right way, is what I'm getting at. But neither here nor there. I got to get this meeting going. Appreciate y'all so much for y'all support. Hey, if possible, hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Be sure to let people know that at the end of the day, we all come out of the triple womb of darkness, right? And we all birthed it with the same amount of time, 24 hours. Yeah, 7 days a week. 12 months out of a year. And for those who got their third eye open, they know that it's more than 12, right? They know that number, right? All I can say is look at a turtle's back and you'll know how the real time frame should be. Yep. But we are in this world together. And we'll be back together. DC for life, that's all the time that I have. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content. And when the end comes for me, just like Jim Rowan said, let it find me conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Yep. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about our Law Nation's independent groove from my studios to yours? And remember, you're listening to absolutely nothing but the past.